Yeah, baby. We are back. And we are black. Yeah. In the new hour, yes, 7:28 in the PM here on Friday, May the 10th. That number is 219-885-1371. The number again, 219-885-1371. And those dulcet tones you just heard, or should I say the lovely voice you just heard was that of Miss Lina Khan. How many of you know that name? Lina Khan. Yes. She was appointed to the chair of the Federal Trade Commission in 2021. She's also an associate professor of law at the Columbia University. And I'm ready to call it at this point. Lina Khan is the best presidential nomination to a position I think I can ever remember. This woman is so good at her job that she almost single-handedly justifies voting for somebody as awful as Joe Biden. Not quite, but she is absolutely a powerhouse. And I know the corporate media probably isn't talking about this because, ironically, the things that they actually could do to help Joe Biden, they can't do because their corporate masters hate Lina Khan. So it's this weird dance that they have to do, where they have to promote the things that suck about Joe Biden or try to explain away them. But when he actually does good things, they can't be talked about because they have to be done sort of in a covert way. They're done by accident or by some sort of covert means. So why is Lina Khan so important? Why is this one woman such a powerhouse, such a shining star in our a sort of a star in the dark night of our political system? She and the Federal Trade Commission are just doing what they do. You just heard her right there in the video talking about non-compete agreements. The FTC has struck down, hear me, struck down non-compete agreements on April the 23rd, 2024. They issued a final rule banning non-compete agreements for most workers across the country. And this is important because so many workers, like if you work at Jimmy John's making sandwiches, you might not be able to go work at Subway. I am serious. So many Americans, even in fast food, in so many fields, in virtually every field in America, were hampered by non-compete agreements. And those agreements kept them from getting jobs and truly getting what was owed to them, getting their fair share in market value. It's so funny that capitalists talk about the free market so much, but they do everything possible to make sure that workers can't benefit from a free market on their labor. Isn't it funny how that works? Everything is free market. Oh, free market, until it can help you get a higher salary and get hired away from whatever company is no longer treating you well or paying you well. Now, this new regulation takes place in 120 days after its publication, so I think it actually takes effect in August. This brings significant changes to the labor market and to the business landscape. It's incredible. Non-compete agreements have traditionally been used by businesses to limit the ability of employees to join competitors or start competing ventures immediately after leaving a company. But like I said, we've gotten to the point where non-compete clauses are used against sandwich makers. That's what we've gotten to. But thank God for Miss Lina Khan, who has spent her entire career fighting corporate power. Thank God. I mean, I hope nothing bad happens to her. When I go to bed tonight, I'm going to be praying that God will indeed protect Miss Lina Khan, at least until election day. Now, the FTC estimates that eliminating these agreements could result in the creation of over 8,500 new startups annually and lead to a 2.7% increase in new business formation every year. This ban is expected to enhance worker mobility and foster a more competitive business market. Yeah, that's what it does. That's what it does. This could translate into an estimated average earnings increase of over $500 per year for workers. Because like I said, a lot of these people are low-wage workers who are basically being held back and not allowed to maximize their value in the free market. Moreover, this rule is anticipated to lower healthcare costs by up to $194 billion over the next decade and potentially lead to 17,000 to 29,000 additional patents filed annually. That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. But we're not done yet. We're not done yet. The FTC is also sending $5.6 million refunds to Ring customers as a part of a video privacy settlement. They are sending more than $5.6 million in refunds to consumers as a part of a settlement with Amazon-owned Ring, which was charged with failing to protect private video footage from outside access. These people are literally spying on you or allowing people to spy on you. This is exactly why I don't do Ring cameras. This is exactly why I don't have Siri. This is exactly why I refuse to put any of those listening devices in my house. I even keep my cell phone. When I'm not using my cell phone, I put it in a metal box. That's why a lot of times people can't get in contact with me. Or I might be late texting you or something. I put my thing in a box if I'm not using it. And I refuse to have a smart TV in my house as well. Refuse to use a smart TV. Those things all are spying machines, basically. In a 2023 complaint, the FTC accused the doorbell camera and home security provider of allowing its employees and contractors to access customers' private videos. Ring allegedly used such footage to train algorithms without consent. Amongst other purposes, Ring was also charged with failing to implement key security protections, which enabled hackers to take control of customers' accounts, cameras, and videos. This led to an egregious violation of users' privacy. The resulting settlement required Ring to delete content that was found to be unlawfully obtained, establish stronger security protections, and pay a hefty fine. The FTC says that it's now using much of that money to refund eligible Ring customers. According to a Tuesday notice, the FTC is sending 117,044 PayPal payments to impacted customers who had certain types of Ring devices, including their indoor cameras, during the time frames that regulators alleged unauthorized access took place. That is scary. That is absolutely scary. That whatever's on your Ring camera could be available to whatever. What if they've got like pedophiles working for them? They could be sitting there watching your kids. What if they got criminals working for them? You know, they could be, you know, scoping out your house, looking at the lay of the land. But thank God the FTC is on that and did something about that. And if it's not done enough, oh man. The FTC and the FCC have signed a memorandum of understanding, an MOU, reiterating the agency's ongoing cooperation on consumer protection matters in response to the FCC's decision last week to restore net neutrality by reclassifying broadband service as a Title II telecommunications service. The FTC is squarely focused on protecting Americans from illegal business tactics, from tackling AI-enabled voice cloning fraud to fighting the scourge of robocalls. We look forward to continuing to work in close partnership with the FCC, says the Federal Trade Commission Chair, Lina M. Khan. What can't this woman do? Now, the FCC Commission, they revived the net neutrality rules. Now, why is net neutrality important? Because it reclassifies broadband as a telecom service. It allows these telecommunications companies like AT&T and Sprint and all these people to be regulated and to have to treat all traffic the same. Whereas the way that it was under Trump, when Trump was in office, the way the rules were set up, your provider could throttle your internet access depending on whether they felt like, for whatever reason, they could say, you have to pay this much for this type of internet access in order to get clear internet. But net neutrality says that all traffic has to be treated exactly the same. It is a service. It is a public service. The internet is not owned by anybody, not controlled by anybody. So overall, I think this is a very good thing. I am no fan of Joe Biden. Have never been a fan of Joe Biden. No fan of the Democrats. Don't vote for them when I can not vote for them, at least on the national scale. But I am fair. I am a fair person. When Trump is right about immigration, when he's right about the military-industrial complex, when he's right about the prison-industrial complex, I have said so. When he called out Joe Biden for writing the Clinton crime bill, I said Trump was right. But here, in this particular instance, this is probably the first time I've said this, Joe Biden did something that I can think of that is better than Obama or any other modern president that we've had, and that is nominate somebody like Lina Khan to be the chair of the Federal Trade Commission. To me, she reminds me of who Franklin Roosevelt appointed this guy named Ferdinand Pecora. Who started the Pecora Commission to go after all the criminals on Wall Street during the 1930s when they caused the hold on, caller. I know you've been online for a long time. I'm gonna get to you, but I gotta show love to my homegirl Lina Khan. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. But yeah, Ferdinand Pecora was the guy that Franklin Roosevelt got to go after all the Wall Street criminals during the Great Depression. And he was just, doing work, putting people behind bars, fighting back against corporate power. And I see somewhat Lina Khan as a modern version of that. Thank God for that. The corporations absolutely hate this woman. Amazon and Facebook filed petitions with the FTC trying to recuse her from investigation of the companies. They're doing everything they can to try to get rid of this woman. Hopefully, she will be able to get as much possible done before the election. If Trump gets elected, and if Biden gets reelected, then hopefully she will be able to continue into a second Biden term doing work. Hopefully they won't do what Clinton did in the 90s when there was this woman named Brooksley Born. I forgot what she was appointed to. But anyway, Brooksley Born tried to convince Bill Clinton in the 90s. She told him, she said, look, if you guys deregulate Wall Street and you don't regulate derivatives, this is going to destroy the economy within a decade. Now notice those words. You are going to destroy the economy within a decade if you don't regulate Wall Street if you deregulate Wall Street and you don't regulate derivatives, these things will destroy the American and the world's economy. And it was Larry Summers, who we just talked about, old Larry, who we just talked about in the last segment before, who said, what do you mean conspiracy? What do you mean oil companies can conspire to raise prices? That's crazy talk. He convinced Bill Clinton, him, Sandy Will, Robert Rubin, also somebody else Barack Obama brought into his administration as well, because he is a sellout. Sorry, black folks, but it is what it is. Obama's a coon. Get over it. And they ran Brooksley Born out of town. They all got together and ran Brooksley Born out of town. And then a decade later, the economy collapsed. Just like she said it would. Hopefully Joe Biden does not have enough weirdos and psychopaths in his administration to run her out if he gets reelected. Like I said, she will be if Joe Biden actually does get reelected, and I think he will, because I don't think white women will let Donald Trump take abortion from them. I truly believe, I hope that Lina Khan will get another term as the head of the Federal Trade Commission, because this woman putting in work. She putting in work. Whew, I had to get that out. Let me get this caller. Hello, caller.
How's it going, Scott?
It's all good, brother.
Yeah, man, it sounds like you got obsession for that young lady, man.
I do. She's the only person in our government working.
No, man, don't go telling me, man, that you got something, good to say about Sleepy Joe, man. I thought you would never have nothing to say good about him.
I call it how I see it.
I know, man. Listen, I'm going to turn it right back over to you in 1 second.
Yes.
Listen. Now, when you went off, you go off the reservation quite a bit, man. But listen, let me ask you this, though. When, you were talking about it, and I know because it's been a minute since you've been in school, I know you know about home economics and the delay of commerce.
Yes.
Now, let me tell you, okay, do you know what the Strait of Hormuz is?
Oh, in the Middle East, right.
That's right. The Strait of Hormuz is just like, what do you think that's like?
Jet black. What do you mean jet black?
No, what is just like?
Oh, let me know.
Okay, you know what the Panama Canal is, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, then. That's just as important in the Middle East as the Panama Canal is here, and it's just as vital for the whole world, the Strait of Hormuz. Now, Iran had took some ships when some oil tankers, when they took off some oil tankers, and they took off some more commerce that was coming out of the Middle East. Now, have you heard about that 105-mile skyscraper that was being built in the desert?
In Dubai? Are you talking about Dubai?
No, not in Dubai, in Saudi Arabia.
No, I haven't heard about that one. Let me know.
Okay,
Sprinkle me, man. Sprinkle me.
Okay, now see what I'm saying? Now, that didn't come from Al Azhar. They shut that down. I'm glad they shut it down. But listen, this is what I want to say about that skyscraper. Some of the material that was being sent from here, they helped build that skyscraper. Now, what they did, they had a price overrun. It ran into I think around $1 trillion. Then it started going more south, on top of the trillion. They still thinking about building it, but it's a skyscraper. It's 105 miles long. They were building it in the desert, but then they started running out on labor costs and labor, so they put that on delay. But this is what I want to say about when you were talking about this. Now, this I'm going to give you an economic 101. Now, if they shut down what they were trying to do, the terrorists were trying to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. Now, around the Horn of Africa, they would have to ship, which they did, when the products here was getting delayed, they had to go around the Horn of Africa. That took, more weeks for shipments to get all over the world. That took more shipments for the bombers to send whatever they were sending into the Middle East. It was taking more money and more fuel for the ships to go around the Horn of Africa. This thing is about economics. Do you think that they would send the 7th Fleet, half of the 7th Fleet, into the Mediterranean Sea that cost $1 million worth of fuel a week just on what persons like yourself say? You cannot put out bad information. Do you think
I don't put out bad information. You can't find one thing false I've said, brother. Go ahead.
Wait a minute.
Please.
No, when you say that they're laying in the bed with Israel, they're laying in the bed with that because
I said Saudi Arabia.
The Middle East is
Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is who the oil companies are in bed with. Saudi Arabia.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
The Saudi Arabia, listen, those are private enterprises. The president don't have nothing to do with that. He called them out on that 9 months ago. You late. He called them out on that.
And they continue to fund.
Now,
why do you think they continue to donate to his campaign?
You say what?
Why do you think they continue to donate to him?
I don't know why. You don't know and I don't know. That's happenstance. That's hearsay. Listen, why do you think that they would dump $1 trillion in that part of the world if it wasn't vital? The Middle East is on fire right now. You don't have to tell everybody that. They could go to their flat screen TVs or analog old TVs and look and see it. You don't have to tell us to look into a magic screen for us to know the Middle East is on fire. Now, what they're doing over there, the president of Israel, I don't go along with none of that murder that's going on. That's murder that's going on right now. He's trying to save his political landscape. But anyway, the president, the one that's in charge now, I'm not talking about the make-believe dozo. I'm talking about the one that's in charge right now is doing everything he can for the propaganda. And they say black men. I don't know who these black men is that's standing behind dozo. I know some of them is right here. I hear them in Gary all the time. It sounds foul. But listen, let me tell you, they don't dump $1 trillion in, and I know some callers going to call in. Do they know what a Strait of Hormuz is? They tried to take the Strait of Hormuz about, 3 months ago. They had a thing that was going on there. They don't send the 7th Fleet. I got people in my family that's out there in the ocean as we speak. They just came out the northern part of Africa. So you don't tell me what they're doing because you don't know. I don't know. I don't have a magic screen. You don't have a magic screen. But we do see the places on fire. And as far as those students that's on those college campuses, you know what? You don't know if it's a terrorist group there. You don't know if ICE is there. You don't
Stop.
know who
We just talked. They talk to the students all the time. We know who they are. Duh.
Do you think ICE is going to come out wearing a headband on ISIS? Okay. Listen, it was a Trojan horse in there when they had those migrants to come here. That was a Trojan horse. Do you know what a Trojan horse was?
Those are not the people at Columbia. I don't think any of those migrants are at Columbia University or the University of Chicago, bro.
I didn't say they was. Listen, there's people from where? China came in. There's people from all over the world came in, from Africa, from everywhere. They had mercenaries to come into this country. You don't know, I don't know. But what I can tell you, we have been invaded by foreign powers. You could bet $1 on that. Now, I tell you what I do. You put up $10 and I put up $10,000 to say we've been invaded by terrorists. We'll see. I'll take your $10, and if you can take the $10,000, let's do it. I'll bring it down there to the station. I'll send it down there. I got a way I can get it there. You just have your $10 ready.
Okay. Well, thank you for your call, brother. I got to get ready to get up on out of here. You always keep it real 100%. Thank you for calling. Oh, man. I just want to remind everybody to, if you still got your mother or your grandmother, make sure you get to you love on them for this Mother's Day. I'm going to eat dinner with my grandmother tomorrow and my mother and my sister, hopefully, because they are definitely important people in my life. And I really want to say once again, I hope everybody who can actually make it to the funeral tomorrow for Jonathan. I hope everybody can come to celebrate that. I won't be able to make it, but I will definitely be there in spirit.